Something's missing. Oh, that's probably what should go right there. But what's the problem? Oh, this card completely fried for some reason. Out of nowhere. It just started smoking, and then a huge spark emitted from my PC case. And now it no longer works. I have no idea why. Anyway, to correct this issue, we have got a GPU 100 times better than this GPU for no other reason than it works. And this one doesn't. Okay, let me show you what I'm talking about here. What is it? What is it? Ah! AMD? This is the AMD 7900 XTX. How many more letters are they going to add at the end of that? I don't know. 24 gigabytes! Oh, exactly the same as my last graphics card. Comes with some kind of a bracket. There's the card. It feels very heavy. So here's something that's interesting. A lot of people were saying, oh, this card is smaller than the equivalent card. Well, it's not wider, but it is longer and thicker than my 3090 here. So that's interesting. I saw so many people say it was a compact or more compact card than NVIDIA's offering. I am excited to see this thing's performance because I've heard a lot of good things, I've heard a lot of bad things. It definitely looks pretty mean here. Pretty simple design. The heat plate thingy is very thick and kind of cool looking. And it's 3 power inputs, which I was under the impression it was going to be 2. Gotta take that off for ventilation reasons. Now the reason I chose this one over any other XTX card is because this one in particular had 3 display ports. The card looks well constructed. I mean, like, everything looks pretty in order. Maybe we should just plop this thing in there. Figured out where that bracket went. It's kind of cool. Gonna be a lot of support for this thing. This thing definitely doesn't need therapy. That's so the spiders don't get in there. They can't fit through those little slots. They really provide you with ample room to mount these things, don't they? Let's get that screwed on there tight. Oh yeah. Hey, a little bit less GPU sag. So it turns out with the EVGA 3090 that I had, there was like a problem with the card. I think they discontinued it from what I read. What's fun is I bought this card during the pandemic, right? There weren't 3090s around. Everything was crazy prices. It was really fun to obtain a GPU during the pandemic, right? What the hell is this for? Anyway, back to the story. The person I bought it from, turns out they had stolen it from EVGA. Isn't that cool? They stole it and they did something called like cross shipping, I think they said. And there's no warranty for stolen goods, as you might imagine. I'm like, well, can I just pay you to repair my card? And they said that they don't repair cards that are stolen. That was that. So I'm still trying to find a third party that will repair my 3090. I was planning on using that card for, 5 to 10 years, and it lasted 2. It lasted 2 years before it literally exploded. I was not overclocking it. There it is in there. Let's see if we, first of all, let's see how much clearance there is. Oh boy, the cables don't touch the case? Wow, okay. Anyway, if you know anybody that can fix my 3090, I would love to get this card fixed to either sell it, use as a backup, I don't know, something other than just either sitting here or selling it for absolutely dirt cheap when maybe it's repairable, I don't know. But if you know someone, let me know. Now I wanted to show you just how comically large and heavy this PC is. So I don't think anyone's had true scale of how large this is and how unwieldy it is. It is gigantic. It weighs probably like 70 or 80 pounds, something, I don't know. It's ridiculous. Okay. There we go. I disconnected some of the RGB stuff because it's annoying. It's gonna be powering this, as you all know. My ultimate rig. Sorry, my ultimate rig. Let's go ahead and see if this thing powers on, though. I wish it would write what order to put your displays in. Like, this is the first slot. Mouse and keyboard, by the way. One USB. Okay, here we go. Let's see. Okay, that's not looking good. Why is it? Oh, I bet you my power supply is turned off. Wait a second. There we go. Okay. The classic mistake. Well, it looks awesome. See those fans spin up? Yes, the fans without RGB. I hate RGB. I don't hate it. It's just gaudy, you know? Let's see what we got monitor-wise. Nothing yet. That's not good. Okay, this monitor is recognizing that it's trying to get a signal. Did I blow all my monitors up or something? Okay, we do have a boot here, but only on one screen. Unfortunately, this was the only monitor that was not hooked up when that huge spark took place. So is it possible that these monitors are both dead? It's not recognizing the resolution automatically. I also have no mouse, and it's super slow. Okay, let me try to connect the mouse directly to the PC with a USB cable. Still not recognized. I just turned it off and turned it on, and now we're good. So I had to update the AMD drivers and delete the NVIDIA drivers, so I did that, but now we don't have an image here, but we do have an image on these two screens. But I'm gonna try to update the software. So turns out I'm an idiot. I just didn't plug the DisplayPort cable in all the way. There's like a second step on the cable, like where it feels like it's in there, and then you have to push it a little bit past it, and now it works. So everything's running normal. All the latest drivers installed. Okay, I did end up removing that third monitor because it was, for streaming reasons, it just was in the way, and I don't see myself using triple screens very often. I do mostly rally stuff. So I want to show you the performance of my favorite games. For whatever reason, I can't get RBR to work properly. I don't know if it's because of some update, you know, some physics update or something, but I can't get it to work. But I'm going to show you what WRC23 looks like, BeamNG looks like, and what Assetto Corsa looks like. So this is a 240 hertz monitor, by the way. We're at 128, 109. Keep in mind this is an ultra at a 5,000. What is it? 5,440p by 1440p. So we're getting this kind of numbers, 120 and above, up to past 130. So now let me show you the settings that I would play with and show you the performance. Lighting quality to high, bloom off, ambient occlusion off. I know that's surprising, but light rays off, depth of field off, motion blur definitely off. We don't need that. Dynamic reflection, you don't really need that at all. Especially if you're doing an in-cockpit view, there's not really much stuff to reflect off of. Detailed mirrors, if you're doing what I'm doing, just driving around by yourself, you don't need that unless you're like racing with someone. And now we're looking at 193 frames per second, right? I do not like the upscaler that they use in this game. Fidelity FX can look good, and I think there's version 2 or 2.1 or 3 that's out right now, and this game doesn't have it. This game has FSR 1, I'm pretty sure. Pure rasterization. I think I'm saying that right, rasterization. Let me show you the settings I'm running with. So full screen borderless, cinematic, anti-aliasing quality, which is the highest. VSync is on, anisotropic filtering is 16. Main menu frame rate is on, which means it just limits your frame rate, which it doesn't actually work, at least not with this GPU. Upscaler is off. My advanced settings are medium shadows, fog is set to off, ultra low particles, ultra low weather, crowd is set to ultra low, high, ground cover, trees high, dynamic objects high, car reflections low. It's important you don't go to ultra low in that because otherwise it looks weird. Post-processing is ultra low. Mirrors are off because it's a rally game. You don't need to look behind you ever, pretty much, unless you've crashed or something. Skid marks off, track is high, textures high, shaders ultra low, and motion blur is off. Now you're gonna think with all this ultra low business, it's gonna look horrible. But no, it doesn't. And you don't need upscalers. Now, when you introduce weather in this game, it does take a hit to the GPU. It looks smooth. Not a whole lot of weird visual graphic glitches and stuff like that. The scenery from far away, things aren't like popping in, things aren't like going all weird because of DLSS, like making up what things think, you know, it thinks it should look like. We're at 98, 99 frames per second right now, but this is pretty solid performance for not using any kind of upscaling technology. Because before, to get anywhere near 100 frames per second, I'm at 100 right now. To get anywhere near 100, I had to use upscaling in DLSS, otherwise it'd be like 60 with a 3090. So now let me turn everything to Ultra, 58 to 66 frames per second, with everything at maxed out, 71 frames per second. This game is known to be difficult to run. So the fact that we're getting like a solid 60 frames or more with no upscaling taking place, that's pretty cool. Now with this game, you can bring any GPU to its knees with enough settings. You can just go crazy on everything. I'm just gonna benchmark it. I can overclock this card and get even better performance. 160 frames per second. Everything set to Ultra, I believe, except for certain settings in Content Manager. Or sorry, the custom shaders patch. This card has better performance than my 3090 in a lot of ways. Inferior in like ray tracing. Definitely inferior in some of the production stuff, right? Like the content creation stuff. But for gaming and for everything that I do, it's been wonderful after I've set it up here. Like it did take me some time to kind of figure out. I'm more than happy with this performance. I think this is definitely a solid 4080 competitor and even a 4090 competitor price-wise. It still provides, you know, 7/10, maybe 8/10 of the performance, something like that, of the 4090, less than half the price. Hopefully you enjoyed this look at the 7900 XTX 24 gigabyte monster GPU, and I think it's gonna stay in my PC for a good long while. Unless the 5090 is like double the performance of like the 4090, I'm probably gonna keep with this and not get a 5090. So have a good day. Thank y'all for watching, and I hope to see you in a future video.